Welcome to another episode of UEN's PDTV. I'm your host, Katie Blunt. In this episode, we're getting creative. We've traveled to Escalante Elementary in Salt Lake City School District to visit the classroom of Megan Hallett, the school's Beverly Taylor Sorensen visual arts specialist. Well, hello, Megan, and welcome to PDTV.
Hello, thank you.
So tell me what your role is as a BTS specialist.
So I'm a visual arts specialist with the BTS program, which is the Beverly Taylor Sorensen Arts Learning Program. And I've been working with them for 12 years, but I've been here at Escalante Elementary for 11. And every kid from pre-K all the way through 6th grade comes in the art room weekly. And we do a variety of projects throughout the year in our school and in our community.
When Megan teaches her students art skills, she ensures that the art they create and the message they deliver goes beyond the walls of the classroom. This is why her work is an excellent example of EdTech Competency 3C. Throughout this episode, you'll see how Megan teaches her students to curate and evaluate creative works and how she facilitates opportunities for her students to positively affect society through their creative works. So tell me about some of the projects you do throughout the year.
We focus a lot on storytelling in the art room and the importance of our students telling their stories and telling them in a way that feels good and truthful to them and is joyful. And also the importance of doing that when you are someone who doesn't see your stories necessarily told in the larger community. Because if you don't tell that story, someone else might tell it for you, or it doesn't get told at all. And so some of the projects we do are things like family trees. We focus on symbols of family and culture.
So it sounds like they're getting the art skills, of course, but they're learning that art is more about messaging and, as you said, storytelling.
Yes. So we focus first and foremost on their story. What story do we want to tell? And then we look at art skills to tell the story more effectively. The kids are pretty quick to get at what the story is that they're interested in, and then figuring out that if you do it in a sloppy manner, if you don't put the actual physical work into telling that story, people don't want to see or listen to your story. So it's also about using art to tell it effectively. But then we also focus on this idea from the beginning of their time at Escalante that when you make something, there is an audience. And sometimes the audience is you. And we do a lot of work that is about them revealing something to themselves. But then we build onto that and think about what do we want to tell other people through this work, and how can we effectively do that? And that is about curation and presentation and finding real ways to do that in galleries and exhibitions, but also just kind of always thinking of that piece of, if I'm going to put all this effort into it, how can I show it to other people?
What's the project that you're starting with your students now?
The project that we're doing right now is a method of work that we've developed over several years here at Escalante, and it is a project that involves photographs and audio work. It's collective. Many years ago we did one called Work, and all the students had cameras, they had their parents have cameras, and took pictures of what work looks like. The next show we did was Love. And so then they got more specific and thinking about how love is represented visually and also what love sounds like. And then this year we've just started Home. And so they're again working with cameras, they're encouraging their family members to work with cameras, and they're gonna figure out what home looks like and how it is distinct from your house. Because it's easy to think of home is where I live, but really thinking about what home feels like and how to represent that visually. And as we move on, they'll also do audio recordings, dinner table recordings, figuring out what it sounds like, and how they build that collective story working together. And when we do that work, I'm a participant, just as they are. Their teachers are participants. Anybody in their lives or in our lives that wants to participate can participate because we're building it together.
I love that you've brought technology into the art classroom, but not as the main focal point, as a vehicle for collecting the messages that will go into the display.
So we always use technology in the art room to bring in contemporary artists. So that we have sources of inspiration, and that's a bedrock of my teaching, sources of inspiration, almost always contemporary work. So that students can know that people today are building stories using these kinds of materials. But then also using digital cameras for them, that idea of letting go of some of the preciousness associated with the labor of working on a single piece of paper and trying to preserve it and hoping nothing goes wrong. But then you have a digital camera and you can take 50 shots, with that, and it just relaxes them. But then we have to figure out, when we're using this technology, there still will be standards. There still will be, how can we make it better? And then we can use more technology, because at that point we can crop, we can enhance the color, we can share the story. When we talk about getting their stories out in the community, it's amazingly flexible if you're doing digital photography, because they can be up in multiple places at a low price point, and we can reproduce those images, and they can be online and they can be shared with family members. We can have them here at school and at the local library, and just gives us a really easy way to share. When the kids try and wring out all the meaning of a topic like work or love or home, you hit a wall if the only way you can represent it is visually. The audio is so important with a project like this.
Love is like something you want to keep forever and not let go of.
Love is a lot of different things. Love consists of respect and joy and endless caring for someone.
Being able to enhance their work with the soundtrack. Being able to talk through, like literally talk through what an idea means, and then for the participants and the viewers, the audience, to look at it while they're listening to kids talking to their parents, or parents talking about what the topic means to them. It just gets a fuller story. There's a lot of comfort in being able to do that it will not be a single image, but it can be the body of work. And so we use technology to help us with that, to support the conversations.
Yeah, technology can definitely help amplify voices, and I love that you pointed out the sharing component that technology brings to the project.
Yeah.
Tell me a little more about how you are sharing. How are you involving the community and really giving students an opportunity to affect the community in positive ways through their work?
So when we have done these photography projects, we have been able to show them at a local gallery. So actually Mestizo Gallery in the past hosted our work project and our love project. Then, because those pieces had been created, we did large photo murals. They also became part of UMOCA's art truck. So then they toured the state in that installation. So those were easy ways to get it out into the community. But also when we work this way, when the students are encouraged to take a camera home, to take a camera to the soccer fields, to take a camera to the grocery store, then they're also having conversations with all of the people in those places, talking about what they're doing, seeking permission. Can I take pictures in this space? And then ultimately also those things are installed and seen at our local library, online. This particular home project, we're hoping to install the photographs in the catchment area for our school. And so our hope is that you would see the work around the community. Because my background is in museum education, I always thought of the school as an exhibit space. Really doing unexpected things in the halls, I think, means a lot. We think about it much more than just stapling some things up. It's a learning space. And then we have a family art program in the evenings where families come and make art, and we display those in a gallery space that we have in our school. So they're also working side by side at various times during the year with their parents, creating something and then exhibiting it. And I think that's important in certain communities more than others, where they're building their own arts and culture resources in the school. The school is then serving as a hub for that. In the event that you can't always go downtown or you can't always go to your local museum, it's embedded right in a space where you already feel comfortable.
Well, thank you so much for sharing the work
you.
that you're doing with us. I'm excited to see what you create moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Now that you have seen EdTech Competency 3C in action, consider how you can incorporate it into your own classroom. Not every teacher is an art teacher like Megan, but you too can facilitate opportunities for your students to positively affect society as a result of their creative works. Are your students scientists and engineers? Maybe they could design something that would help someone who's disabled. Are your students storytellers and historians? Maybe they could create a book that compiles the stories of your community. Are your students learning a language? Maybe they could assist parents in the community to access school and community resources. Not sure what to do? Involve your students in the process. Guide them through deciding what they could do to benefit their community. And of course, consider technology tools that can help your students curate, evaluate, and share creative works. Technology can help amplify student voices and give them a community-wide and even worldwide audience for the works they create. For even more ideas, strategies, and tools to help you implement this EdTech competency, be sure to visit uen.org/PDTV and access the teacher toolkit that accompanies this episode. Thanks for watching this episode of UEN's PDTV. To access even more professional development resources from UEN and to schedule a training, visit uen.org/development. We'll see you next time.